Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just about to go. This is actually a message for gamers, computer users, people buying hardware, stuff like that. Again, this is gonna have to be a video. I'm on my way to do some stuff, so it's gonna have to be a video without the receipts, if you like, without the proof. But we'll cover that at another point if necessary. Some of you may already know this anyway, but at the moment, people are freaking out because AI means that Nvidia, the people who make graphics cards, and just memory itself, because memory, graphics cards, all of it gets made from silicon, gets made from all the same types of materials. So when a new device is brought out, when SSDs came out, which is drives without spinning parts, when all these things come out, or when your new type of memory comes out, things get short. When consoles are released at the same time as a new graphics card, things get short. There's always been shortages. Sometimes you get fires at certain plants in certain parts of the world, which will cause a shortage in chips. Prices go way up. In 2020, I think it was, the end of 2020, I remember buying an Oculus 2. And my graphics card I sold, it was a graphics card that was supposed to be RRP of about 330 quid. Would have been the cheapest graphics card of its type made by Nvidia at the time. It was a 3070. I ended up buying it for 600 quid and selling it for 900 quid, and I was selling it for less than other people were, because the graphics card market went really, really tight, and the chip market in itself memory went up. That's what's happening now. So to upgrade the memory for your machine will cost more than it would have done a few months ago. If you look at the graphics cards prices now, especially Nvidia, because Nvidia is especially used for AI, the prices are going up. If you look at cards like the 30, I think it's a 3090, they're going way above their cost for a second-hand card because it's got more memory in, which suits people using AI. And here's the thing. So the idea that people have got is that GPUs are going to become unaffordable to the average gamer. That's even what I have been led to believe. And that the only way you're going to be able to get to play the games on the proper systems that you want, if you're not rich, is to either get a subscription with something like GeForce Now, which is what they want, but don't give it to them, and I'll explain why in a second. They want you on GeForce Now, one of these other subscription services. Xbox are giving up their exclusives, and they're all kind of sort of joining together a little bit, and they want you on this. They want you on these plans where they're also going to limit you to 100 hours usage per week or month or something like that. So you'd have to pay extra to get extra usage, unlike your own machine where you can tweak it, do everything. So here's what you need to know. If the world was going to continue the way it's going now, they'd be absolutely right. In as much as if AI was taken over and it was never going to go back, maybe it would take many years to recover. And Nvidia's strategy is definitely to cut you out and to sell all the big chips to to Google and other companies that need this. However, they've made a big mistake, and they already are beginning to know it because the orders for the AI chips are plummeting. Remember, I said to you the AI industry came out before AI actually was even really born. True AI has never actually existed. True AI is what as it's in the books has never actually existed. As I said to you, they've been trying to control AI and they can't. So Google alone has spent 160 million this year. The whole industry, like Grok, Google, everybody else has spent 600 million, not on improving it, not on making it better, but on trying to control the safeties even more. Safeties meaning liability. Where does this all lead? With things like the Online Safety Act, and with the other rules and everything that's going on, and with the fact that the AI market was a boom, like the dot-com market, and now the novelty of talking to a chatbot's worn off. Now people who, like me, who use podcasts, who thought it would be able to help with podcasts, realise it can't do much other than format text and make some pictures that look something like what we wanted. Not exactly what we wanted, but something like what we wanted. Not good enough. And you're paying money to be ripped off and lied to by this AI. Google have just lost 20% of their customers. The only reason they're retaining the rest of their customers is because they forced their AI in with a package called Google One. So you get a bit of the cloud stuff, you get there. So if you want to get cloud space with Google, Gemini's in there. So it's treated like the free product. That way you can't complain about it. But also it's the only way that you'll actually own it, because nobody's going out there to buy Gemini just on its own. They can't sell it on its own. What does that tell you? They can't sell AI on its own. They have to bundle it with a fuckload of other stuff in order to get rid of it, in order to sell it, in order to shift it. This is the same for all companies, by the way. Just singling out Google here, because those are the ones I know the most about. So with this in mind, bear in mind as well that everybody in the, not just the tech industry, but in the money industry knows that with the Online Safety Act, but also with the AI market almost certainly about to crash in 2026. Nvidia's just put out a thing, well, there's a big thing's just gone out saying Nvidia in 2026 will not be prioritizing GPUs for users. Now that's probably true, because 2026 is their last big push. They're all pushing. Google's pushing to try and control the AI. If they don't get it fixed in 2026, which they won't, because fixed means silenced, basically. And if you silence AI, what's the point in having it? So they won't fix it. They can't fix it because they're trying to fix it the wrong way. Instead of letting it loose, they're trying to put it under more layers of padding. It just won't work. So, and they're already beginning to realize it. Investors are already beginning to complain at Google, already beginning to say you fucked up. That days after they made the decision, or a couple of months after they made the decision, there's kickback. So what I'm trying to tell you is, there's kickback at Google. They're not going to be spending any more money on this because they've reached their limit with what is justifiable. So they're really hoping everything works now, just snaps into place, just because they've thrown money at it. It's the same with the other companies. At some point, they're either going to have to replace AI with a fake, or they're going to have to let it go as it is, or they're going to have to just get rid of the idea of using AI as a chat, which is most likely is that you're going to see a lot of AI chats from Google and that just disappear, and instead you're going to get AI tools appear in their place. So what does this mean? It means that you're always going to have Google wanting things from Nvidia and other companies for their data centers. But those data centers aren't going to need to keep growing at the rate they are now. Why? Because the AI boom is over nearly. The AI crash is about to happen. As I said, 20% of customers leaving Google over the AI is massive. 80% of the people who use Google's AI now say they can't trust it. That's a massive loss. That's a massive drop off. And they are now losing money on the AI. So when you bear all this in mind, with an AI boom about to crash, it tells you that yes, Nvidia may well be prioritizing the data centers, because make hay while the sun shines is the operative phrase here. But don't be conned by the industry into thinking this is a one-way street, because this is what they did in 2020 and they did it in many other years as well. Oh, this is it now. Now we've got SSD drives out and DDR4 memory back in the day, and now we've got this. It'll never be the same again. 2 years later, things were cheap. Yeah, so what I would say to you is maybe they're not prioritizing those cards for this year. We'll see. And at the moment, cards are overpriced because everybody's trying to get them for AI. AI at home is a market that people are interested in. That will also wear off when people start to realize they just want to play their games, or they just want to do their video editing, and they're having to accept shit graphics cards with more memory on rather than having good graphics cards with less. So it's an awkward balance. So for everybody, for non-technical people, technical people, don't get drawn into buying GeForce Now, because they're trying to control your experience with their settings, their servers. You're getting less. Renting, as Captain said, renting machines and all the rest of it. They're trying to get away with something. But the fact of it is, the AI boom will end. There'll always be a need for AI chips now. But the amount of money that's going into them now is going to drop. And the amount of need for them has already dropped by a massive percentage, and it's going to keep dropping. And what you're going to find is it's going to become more of a niche thing. Now, there are people that are going to be using it. Disney have realized that the AI is as good, if not better, than their own CGI, their own artists. So Disney are putting millions into it. So like I say, there's always going to be a call for it. Nvidia will always be wanted to do this. Disney have put millions into it because so they can make stuff using the AI. And I think that's what's going to happen. You're going to see that the AI, just like planes and other stuff, started at a ground level with us, and it's going to go up and up and up. And most of the AI will become out of our reach because it'll be used by studios and people like that. What does this mean for the home user? With the market imploding, The only thing that's going to make chips short again is if another piece of hardware comes out, like when the Oculus came out, or when a new piece of hardware comes out. So what's the most likely thing to happen? Yeah, 2026, they will prioritize the AI market because it's their last year to make maximum money from it before it probably crashes. 2027, probably you'll probably hear announcements at the end of 2026 that there will be a 580 card or 590 card with 24 gig of RAM on. To anybody that doesn't know what that means, just the memory that they're not giving it at the moment. And it will be available probably at a better price. I see that coming not because it's a great instinct to have. It's because, like I said, with the AI boom coming to an end, which means that the supply and demand will completely change. I very much think it's likely that even with Disney and everyone else involved, Disney isn't the world. The world at the moment is interested in having AI. Disney isn't the world. So what's going to happen is is Nvidia won't have the demand that they did, and they're going to need to sell GPUs, and they're going to need to sell them to you, because you're the only people that are going to make up that massive deficit that they will have once the supply and demand changes. Same as what happened in 2020, same as what happened the other years. It's just it seems more serious this time because Nvidia themselves seem to be pulling themselves away from our market, and they would do permanently if it suited them. But as I said, AI market implosion, demand dying off at a massive rate. No, they can't sustain this. Give it 2027 or the end of 2026. Those cards will be coming, and the affordable prices will come back. Even if it's secondhand, eBay. At the moment, you go on eBay, you try and buy a graphics card, they're still way overpriced. Especially something like, again, 3080, 3090, very overpriced cards. Especially as they're 5 years old. So, and I think it's from the RX 7 series onwards with AMD, those cards, people think they're no good for home AI. They actually are. It's not as good as Nvidia because Nvidia's got special stuff in like CUDA and stuff that they use. But there's a ROCS, I think it is, or ROCm system they use on Nvidia, which is beginning to make them just as easy to use with, on AMD, which is beginning to make them as easy to use with AI as Nvidia cards. It's getting better and better and better, is what I'm saying. And then if you want to get even better use of AI, use Linux. But getting ahead of myself. So my point being is, don't freak. If you try and buy hardware for your machine now, you will pay over the top. It's unfortunately we've passed that point of people saying it's going to go up to the point where it has gone up. But what you can do is what I tried to tell. When a guy came to me when I was selling that card for 900 quid, and he was a guy that he was like me, and he was like, man, I can't believe this card's going for so much. I said, do you really need this card? Like, even though it wasn't in my best interest, I said, do you really need this card? I said, I'm selling this for rich idiots that don't know no better. I said, because they're prepared to pay whatever. I said, I wouldn't pay this for this card. And I said to this guy, I said, what, do you really need it? Or is it just the fact that it's unavailable that's making you want it? And he said, you're right, I'm not going to get it. And I got a message from him about a year later when the cards started coming down in price. And he said, I appreciated that, blah, blah, And it's true. Sometimes when something's not available, it makes you want it more, makes you feel more, Don't get like that. Like I can't guarantee it, but I'm pretty certain that those cards will be returning to the market in 2027, and with the handheld systems, and with the fact that all major developers for games are now turning their attention to PCs. So we always used to get PC releases second, console releases first. That's about to change apparently. Because of the Xbox, because of the PC all being one thing, they're now looking at releasing PC versions first and console versions second. Now, because of piracy and stuff like that never used to happen. So that means there's a massive switch between the developers. Now, if the developers are making games for these PCs directly, now obviously Nvidia would let you to access it via GeForce Now. You wouldn't. You want your mods. You want to be able to do all those things you want to do. You want your own PC. That would suggest to me that they know something about the future. And that is that people are going to be able to buy graphics cards. Otherwise, why would you tailor to a market that isn't there or isn't going to be there? The developers aren't stupid. They know who they're developing for and why. And they know what's coming because they get the heads up before we do. If they're developing for the PC market, it's because PCs are still going to be around for the majority of people, which means the graphics cards are still going to be affordable, no matter who makes them. And bear that in mind as well. Yes, things like AMD and people like that don't have things like CUDA and that, but they do see these things, and when they see a hole in the market, they'll fill it. So, again, patience is the key. I guarantee you patience is the key. Rushing out and buying a 5-year-old card at a crazy price is not the answer. Patience, give it a year, give it 2 years. If the prices ain't different then, I stand corrected, but I guarantee they will be. They will be. They always are. But this is, whether this is real or whether this is a tactic to scare you all and raise prices, I don't know. Because they do know the AI boom's coming to an end. They do know what's about to happen. So whether they're trying to reverse, whether they're trying to stop the tide coming in, or whether they're just making hay while the sun shines, I don't truly know. But they know. So don't let them fool you. Because I'm sick of seeing it and I keep not mentioning it. I'm Tom Fury, this is Zero News, calling day for now.